of this community exercise is to say, where are your main avenues? Where are your pockets of important things? Things that have a good anchor but need to grow? Where can you make those avenues through, you know, whether they're, you know, you need ways to connect up with bike trails, or whether you need, you know, multiple ways to deal with stormwater, and how can you, you know, how can you bring in restaurants? How can you bring in walkable neighborhoods? How can you bring in trees? There are resources to put trees in urban areas. We're losing a lot to this emerald ash borer. You're all aware of that, right?
Yeah.
How can we? Yeah. How can you mark a street and say this is a complete street, a blue-green stormwater street? Detroit calls them. You know, how can you make this street an amenity and part of the linkage? You know, we emphasize linkage because if you were to, build a road that was a mile long, it would be totally useless. It'd be like a river that stopped from one end or another. It would be non-functioning. And so, when you get to the maps, we want you to think about it.
This is a stormwater project at the same time.
Okay.
Wow. That canyon is a natural storm.
Yeah. A heck of a thing when you have to go down to the bottom of it.
But also with the trees, you're talking about cooling and
How is this going to work with the
the climate change issues that with the canopy.
I don't know if it's relevant to it.
Well, people don't want to be out.
Sorry, go ahead.
You know, I was talking about the heat island effect and the trees.
You know, Bureau Con Ed has a site where you can go on and you can like portray your residence, and if you had a tree this big, you know, what would be the energy savings and everything. I'm sorry, they worked with CMEP. It was part of their HUD Sustainable Grant, and they had kind of a breakup. I can't remember. It was Energy Illinois. I should get that link for you too. But they actually encourage neighborhoods to compete with each other on how much energy you're saving, how much, you know, and so you can profile your own area. And Center for Neighborhood Technology has a lot of that kind of tools too. Okay, we're slowly bringing this up. This is the tyranny of PowerPoint. This happens every time. Yeah. Yes. Okay. We're going to go through these real fast because we want to. And you have to get to the maps.
And I'm aware of the time.
Lunch is pending.
I'm aware of the time. I'm going to ask you to just give us indulgence. We said 12. Can people hang around to like 12:30?
But we need you to mark on maps.
People want to see. It's a lot going on today in our community. Yeah. Some people want to see you. I just heard that.
I understand he has still not shown up at,
Oh, he's still not. Oh, that's true.
Is he going to the quarry?
I think he's going to 71st Street.
He's going to 71st. He's supposed to go there on...
So hang in there.
Today.
We don't want to lose you.
Okay, so we're real quick here. We're going to go so fast.
We need the. She needs the mic though.
I need to be mic'd, Tom. Sorry. I don't even want to touch anything. Okay, so he's going to hit it, and we're going to show, and this is even not as wide as some of your streets are here. Do you see the stormwater bump outs? You see even striping your street is the #1 safety method, and you need those, and there's very simple rules about it. Go ahead. Go. All right, so here are the things that are listed as the environmental categories for, who is this? I think, keep going. All righty, I just want to tell you, 1 inch of rain is 27,000 gallons. Can you picture per acre? Can you kind of picture an acre? Okay, go ahead. Chicago gets 37 inches of rain. 37 times that is 1 million gallons. That I can't picture. 1 million gallons. Picture 1 million gallons on an acre. Okay? And so, keep going.
A lot of acres here for me.
Yeah, a lot of, you know, keep going. All right, so I did a mile square in this area. That's 640 acres times 1 million is 640 million gallons per year for each square mile. So you could fit a heck of a lot more square miles in it. It gets into the billions of water. That's why Even though you don't think water is important, it's very important. Keep going, especially when it's in your basement. Okay, so what we're talking about is an interconnected. So I want you to think about that I want you to look at streets that need to be repurposed. Are they going to schools? Are they going to parks? Are they going to regional bike trails? Are they hitting across to the lakeside development? I want you to think of those things. Keep going. Okay, that kind of interconnected thing. And this is, like for natural areas, but it functions for people too. We have to be connected. We have to go from one place to another, and it works to support and sustain everything. Go ahead. So let's keep going, Eric, real quick. Okay. All right. Here's some of the repurposing pictures. Just go. Here's one. Here's an area that flooded. All of those were stormwater controls, catching it all the way down. So it didn't end up in their basement. Here's a typical gorgeous street with that kind of scaping that you were talking about with the rocks. Okay, keep going. All right, so they did this kind of thing in their boulevards with permeable paving. Now, the Midas sign doesn't help much, but keep going. This is a place where you wouldn't want your kid walking down to cut through. This is the Chicago Department of Transportation. This is their permeable paving. There's areas where that should happen and needs to happen. Keep going. Ring barrels. Ring barrel initiatives. Center for Neighborhood Technology, Metropolitan Planning Council have done whole neighborhoods in other areas, whole neighborhoods in Blue Island. This is a very wet area, and it was turned into an amenity with boardwalks, okay? And so there are vacant lots. We have vacant lots marked down there. We have actually blighted. I think the Field Museum, they did these maps for us. They're very interested in working with you. Here's real quick how it can look different. Just those small pieces. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Stormwater trees. That's what US EPA calls them, stormwater trees. Repurposing spaces. Keep going. Again.
That could be us, you guys.
These are different types of practices. They can look all different ways, but this is mainly dealing with water. And then there's the concept of repurposing, keep going. Repurposing public, lots to become part of the community. And certainly fresh food is one of those, and I think a lot of you know that already. Okay, there is also other opportunities. When we were working in the Millennium Reserve area, this gentleman came in and told us about the empty parcel that was the old Tuskegee Airmen Strip in Robbins. I wasn't aware of that. Were you aware? Now, they weren't called Tuskegee because they hadn't moved it, but they originally came from Robbins. And we started talking, they have a museum, and we started talking about what kind of grants to save that area. So if you have cultural assets, we need to know that on the map.
So did anybody ever wonder, if you go down 57, it's called Tuskegee Memorial Highway? That's why.
Yeah. So that's where they started. We didn't know. That was fascinating. Okay, so this is what we're talking about. There's no bad ideas. We want you to write legibly. Does everybody kind of understand what we want you to do right now? And it's hard to start marking on maps. Everybody's looking a little, but okay, because we want you to start taking marker pens. Come to the map. Yes, sir.
I think it would be helpful if you just briefly, succinctly ran through the kinds of things you would like us to put on the map.
Okay. I want you to first start looking at connectivity to parks, to schools, to areas that you think are difficult to get to or need better amenities. If there are areas that are going business areas but need to be expanded, we want you to mark that. And we want you to mark whether you need more trees, whether you need stormwater practices. If there's areas that flood, we want you to mark the areas. And we'll be there with you to help with that. If there are areas where you need, okay, there's a bike trail. We've got the bike trails marked. But you need community trails going through. How should that happen? Where should it connect? I know we were working with we were working with the Midlothian area, and they said there were areas where the kids have to walk down the median strip in the middle of Kedzie, I think it was, to get to high school. Yeah, there was no sidewalks. So,
We saw it.
So we want you to mark areas, but, you know, for opportunity areas, but that's a euphemism for sometimes issue areas, okay? Where the infrastructure is not serving you. So it's something that you'll start to get in on the map. It's always hard to start marking it, but start to get in it, and we've got 3 maps, and we'll see probably the same things coming out over and over again. One of the things that wouldn't be a bad idea is to kind of look and mark where you live on the map, okay? For starters on the map. I think, okay, we're going to stop there because we don't want to